The man had equipped his doomsday safe house with solar panels, but this was the endless rainy season, and his shelter had lost power. To seal out the thickening stench of rotting corpses, he had made the room airtight. Without electricity, the ventilation system was dead. Even wrapped in the thickest down jacket, the cold crept into his bones. He thought about lighting the stove a warm bowl of soup, but he didn't dare. In this sealed space, carbon monoxide would kill him, and the scent of frying meat would attract starving neighbors. So instead, he reached for a can of cold luncheon meat. A thick layer of white fat had congealed on top. He forced it into his mouth. The cold grease coated his palate, making him gag. Then he retreated into the darkness. In this place without power, without hope, he simply endured. Days later, a shaft of sunlight appeared. Then, a crisp electronic chime. The solar panels were working. Input power surged to 860 watts. No time to celebrate. His first move, turn on the ventilation system. The stench from bodies rotting in flooded basements below was too much for ordinary filters. Only this 10-kilogram industrial-grade activated carbon could scrub the air clean. As the fan blades spun, the stale air finally began to clear. He powered up other appliances. His electric kettle drew 600 watts, leaving a comfortable buffer. Hot water was coming. There was even enough juice to charge drones, cameras, power banks. He looked at the power strip, a row of blinking green lights. That familiar surge of control, of security, flooded back. Moments later, he sank into the sofa, an electric blanket warming his legs, a steaming cup of coffee in his hands. The hum of the ventilation system sounded sweeter than any symphony. On this hellish morning, a few hundred watts had dragged him back to civilization. But not for long. Ripples shivered across the surface of his coffee. The acoustic panels on the walls vibrated. This wasn't thunder. This was the roar of heavy machinery. He grabbed his camera and peered through the electronic viewfinder. A massive transport plane was screaming low over the city, its belly open. Crates tumbled out, parachutes blooming bright orange, stamped with the letters AID. They drifted down like a cruel joke. He zoomed in on one crate as it crashed into an intersection, unobstructed by any building. Dozens of ragged survivors swarmed it, fighting, clawing. Then the shadows came. The infected, driven mad by hunger, poured into the sunlight, burning under its rays but desperate for fresh flesh. The outcome was never in doubt. Expressionless, the man turned his drone toward the edge of the city. The highway exit he once used was blocked by a wall of despair. Shipping containers stacked high, sprayed with a chilling white message. Quarantine zone, no entry. Between the wall and the city, a killing field had been cleared, flat, barren, littered with desiccated corpses. Beyond it, rows of armored vehicles and anti-aircraft guns pointed skyward, and at him. A low battery warning flashed on his screen. The drone began its return flight. As the camera swept across a towering office building, its blue glass facade mirrored the sky perfectly until something impossible entered the frame. It clung to the vertical glass. A grotesque humanoid, nearly zero body fat, limbs elongated like a spider's, knuckles grotesquely enlarged. Then its neck cracked. The head snapped around and looked directly at him. Not at the drone. At him. Its gaze carried intelligence. It seemed to follow the radio signal through the screen, locking onto the man hidden in his safe house. He glanced at the sealed window, at the vent leading to the roof. That pipe would be impossible for a human to climb. For that thing? Probably effortless.